Today we're going to make a homemade version of the rabbit wringer. Pretty basic, just 2 pieces of steel is what we have here. One is a piece of angle. It's 2 inches by 2 inches and the thickness is about 3/8. And then there is a piece of 1/2 inch round stock. The angle is about 14 inches long. The round stock is about 15 and a half, somewhere through there. You can make this a little bit longer if you want it to span between studs. I'm actually just going to mount a board and then mount this to that board. So the length is why it's so short. If you want it just directly mount to studs, I would probably make this one at least 17 inches and then, bump that up to about 18. But that's what we're starting with, and we'll go through the steps and check back in. Alright, the first thing I did was I put 3 holes in what will be the lower end of the wringer for mounting. If you're doing a short one like me, the 3 screws will be good to mount it on the board. If you're doing a longer one that you expect to go from stud to stud, you just have to do those on the ends. Alright, we had to put a bend in the end of our round stock. I forgot that this was actually cold rolled steel. If you're unfamiliar with that term, that means it's really, really strong metal. This would be the kind of round stock that you would get to use as an axle. And actually what this piece is, a scrap piece is from, is where I'd made a new crank system for a honey extractor. So, yep, this was cold stock, or cold rolled rather. So what I had to do was I had to heat that in with a torch. I don't have a huge vise. If I had a big vise, it would have probably been simple. I could have clamped it in there and probably beat it over. But I heated it up with a torch, laid it in between 2 blocks, and then took a little cross peen hammer and hammered that to get that bend in there. And what that's for is that'll go up against the upper portion of your wringer, and that'll create that well-known V that you need to get the rabbit in there. So basically I'll just have to weld this on, and then we'll see where we're at there. Alright, we've got our piece of round stock welded on to our angle, and pretty much that could be a finished product. I'm probably going to throw a coat of paint on it just to give it a longer life. But, as is, I think everything will work. I've never actually seen one of these in person. I've just always seen pictures of them. So if you want, we can go through and, just go through a few numbers here, 3 measurements. We've done went over the length and all that of that. And the bend in your metal, that one's around 2 inches. That depends on the length of one of the sides of your angle. And that bend's probably, I'm just guessing, probably 35 degrees, something like that. But, as far as I can tell, as long as your rabbit's head will fit in here, and you can bring it up to whatever point that it needs to be to do the cervical dislocation, I think it'll be fine. The wide end over here is, let's see, 3.5 inches max, and then it goes, this one actually goes all the way up to nothing. The ones I've seen pictures of, seems like it comes in and kind of legs over, and there's a 1/2 inch, 1/4 inch, or 1 inch gap. I'm not sure how big that gap is, but I know that there's one on it. This one doesn't have it. You've just got the sweep from 3.5 inches down to pretty much 0. So we'll throw a coat of paint on this, and whenever it gets dry and we mount it, we've got a buck that we need to take care of anyway, so we'll let him be the first test on this. Alright, we got 2 coats of paint on it, and I'm just going to let it dry till tomorrow, and then we'll get it mounted up and we'll see how it does. Alright, I looked for wall space. I was wanting to mount this on one of the walls of my buildings close to my rabbits, but I really just didn't have any. So we ended up putting it on a board and then throwing it up on a tree. And like I said, you know, we were planning on mounting it to a board anyways, so you know, this long board would have, you know, went up against the building, and you could have hit at least two studs with that. And it's really rigid how it is right now and where it's sitting. And it's, you know, the 3 screws into the bottom plate and several screws into the tree with the board. But we'll go ahead and check out and see how it works. If you are not into seeing a rabbit being dispatched, this would be the time for you to turn this video off. But yeah, we're gonna dispatch it, and it will be for food. So hang tight, and we'll be back with that. Alrighty, we got him cleaned up for the most part. You know, we got the back legs, the back strap, the inner loin, the front legs, and I'm gonna pull a little bit more meat off of them because I'm actually gonna make sausage out of this one. But you know, the wringer worked really well. I did want to point out that squeal that you hear in the video was my wife. She really isn't around for much of the butchering that I do, so that was her eek, not the rabbits. You know, the wringer worked perfectly. I'm going to try to think up another one for those of you that don't have welders, but for right now, that's the only one I got, and it works really well. So let me know what you think about it, and subscribe. And once again, any suggestions you might have for videos, just let me know.